I mean, we got the Rose Bowl where Alabama is a 7.5 point dog to Indiana. The year is 2026. I mean, Happy New Year, folks. But we got an absolute ball game coming up here. Two of the better quarterbacks in college football, two of the better coaches in college football, if you really want to go there. I know Bama fans may have their opinions on Kalen DeBoer, but in terms of results in these last few years, can't really argue with what he's done there. Uh, I mean, come on. Come on, man. Look, this Indiana football team, 13-0, Big Ten champions, 1 seed. They deserve all the love that they could possibly get. But I know that there's Bama fans out there that watched that Ohio State game with Miami, and they're feeling a little bit more confident that these teams, no one is infallible. And that's what might make this a little bit exciting.
Without a doubt. I mean, I think you have to look at that and be like, well, maybe the Big Ten, isn't as high powered as we thought it might have been, especially at the top end. Yeah, no one is infallible. Absolutely, this Indiana team, while 7.5 point favorites, far from a perfect team at all. They've just done it and done plenty and done enough in every game they've been in. Fernando Mendoza, while people are dragging him through the mud for this and for that and about being the worst Heisman Trophy winner and whatever, however long, he does what he needs to do, right? And I think that to me is a compliment for him and how well he has played and orchestrated this offense in an attack where they've thrown the ball 340 times and they've run the ball 524. They have a stable of running backs that they really, really like. And I think that's going to be the difference in the ball game. I know a lot is made of Alabama's ability and or lack thereof to run the football. And some of that's been this and that and injuries and offensive line and game script, yada, yada, yada. But I think to me, what concerns me, watching Oklahoma run the football well against Alabama, that is concerning. And I know LT Overton wasn't there and he'll be back. And it was a huge boost for Alabama, huge boost. But that will be concerning. If you are struggling to stop the run against this Indiana team, that is when they become extremely dangerous because not only will they score, and they will score, plenty, but their defense then gets a spot where they can start playing with a lead, and their offense knows what to do with one. That's where you start snowballing, and that's where this game could get out of hand here. I don't expect it to get out of hand. Obviously, I don't think this will be a blowout, not like last year's Rose Bowl. I don't think Indiana jumps on them 28-0 like they did to Ohio State did to Oregon just a year ago. But I do feel good about Indiana covering. The backdoor cover scares me for sure, but I think it's the spot here where Ty Simpson makes an interception or two. Indiana plays clean football. They get it done, and they take care of business and head on over to the next round.
Yeah, I think Alabama has to legitimately push the ball down the field and effectively. None of this thinking and dunking, swing screens, quick RPO stuff. Indiana tackles people. They do. They're a great tackling football team, particularly in that secondary. They're so good at that. So you're not going to spring explosive plays that way. You are going to Ty Simpson is going to have to push the ball down the field. And maybe Kalen DeBoer knows that. I mean, I would assume he does. He gets paid to do it, right? To have the genius ideas like I just had right there. Also, too, the thing with Indiana, Alabama is going to have to earn the right to rush the passer on third down by stopping the run. Which there have been some games this year. You talked about Oklahoma being one. There are other games too where it gets a little bit questionable. They get out physical, when they don't come and play their physical brand of football that we're used to seeing Alabama play. So if they don't do that, first of all, even if you stop Indiana on the ground for the most part, they will not abandon the run. They will not do it. They didn't run the ball great against Ohio State. They didn't run the ball great against Oregon. Did not stop them from running the football. And that's part of what makes them so dynamic is because they refuse to be unbalanced. They refuse to be unbalanced. And this Alabama secondary, I think, is really good. I think it's one of the better ones in the entire country. And if you start testing it, even with the really good receivers that Indiana has, I think Alabama's secondary can run with those boys. I don't know how many points Indiana's going to put up on this Alabama defense. I think that defense for Bama got a lot of confidence in that second half of that Oklahoma game. They settled in. There was a really great game plan that Ben Arbuckle had going for Oklahoma in that first quarter, and they diced up that Bama secondary. It was open guys on third down. It was John Mateer, scrambling, making plays. They they game planned very well for that one. And of course, there's a lot of time for Indiana to prep for this one as well. They could have a similar game plan and get guys open. One of the better coaching staffs in the entire country. But I just refuse to believe that Alabama's defense is going to come out that flat like they did against Oklahoma. Um, and I think that Alabama's playmakers are still good enough. I know Ryan Williams has not been that guy the last couple weeks. I know it's been Brooks, an absolute drop machine, right? But I really do believe that Alabama is talented enough, despite Indiana. Here's a sentence: Indiana having more NFL talent than Alabama. I mean, absurd. At least starting wise, right? Not necessarily the depth of this team, but there's a lot of NFL talent in Indiana. But I think that there's enough on Alabama where I think that this will be a close game. If Ty Simpson stays clean, which he has done for most of the year, it has been some games where he's throwing picks that gets him in trouble. If he stays clean, I don't think Alabama has to run the football super effectively at all to win this football game. I think defensively is where you are going to be circling, and like they have to game plan appropriately. They have to tackle guys. They cannot miss tackles. And then offensively, Ty Simpson needs to push the ball down the field.
Yeah, you hit it on the nail absolutely there. With Indiana, it's talking about some injuries and getting some guys back and some guys banged up. So Omar Cooper Jr., it sounds like he's back, which is huge. He's actually your leading receiver. I know Elijah Surratt gets a lot of hype, which he should. He's a freak. Charlie Becker was a Big Ten hero, which is an awesome story. But Cooper is a stud, and he is a big-time get to have him back. And I think more so importantly because, and I really like Alabama's secondary, especially those corners, but there is some drop off there where once you get into like I think Indiana will be able to put up 5 playmakers on the field and find matchups that they like and have Fernando Mendoza exploit them, and that could be a spot where you do see that. And then the other thing too, Stephen Daly getting injured at the end of the game or even after the game was just brutal for him. He's a really good football player. He's got 5.5 sacks for them this year. They have plenty of talent in the D line, but they're going to miss him for sure. And lastly, about this Indiana defense, the linebacking core, and I'll say it in every video that we do with Indiana, assuming they win and keep winning the rest of the year, this is the best linebacking core I have seen in college football in multiple years. They are unbelievable. You talked about them flying to the football, at least as a team defense in Indiana. Do not miss tackles in the right spots, making things so difficult on every offense they play. And that has been the theme. I think if you ask every Alabama fan, or a lot of them, has it been easy for your offense at any point in the last 2 months? No, I don't think it has. Everything feels so hard and so manufactured, and everything has to go right for little to go well for you. And this Indiana defense, I think to me, is going to eat that up. And that's where you get a spot here where I got Indiana covering and of course winning.
Yeah, it's a damn good linebacker core. I'm not going to argue with you on that. 7.5 is a lot of points in a game where I think the margins are still pretty slim. I think I think we talked about this off air the other day, but it was like you go position by position in this game. You're trying to find like, okay, where does Alabama have like a genuine advantage position by position? Quite frankly, there's not a lot of them. Like this Indiana team is better than this Alabama football team. I say 7.5. It's a little too much. So I'll be on Alabama plus for 7.5. I think Indiana wins the game. I do. So I don't know if that's soft of me to like middle it or whatever, but I just think it's a close ball game. Like that's what we're at that point in the season. And by the way, if Indiana steamrolls them, that means Alabama played a bad game, and like that's very possible. It's very possible for this game to get out of hand. I just don't think it will. Very possible for it to get out of hand, though.